It's 5:30 p.m. in the evening. Do you know where your children are?
At home.
In her bedroom.
Anyhow, welcome and joining us to the party after weeks of being dad. The quarterback finally returneth, as it's Double A Chris Corey Hammond live 25, and joining us from his studios in world headquarters. Mizzle has joined us onto the fray, so um, at the moment we have a very large panel. So first off, Mr. Hammond, welcome back. Um, how art thou? And well, actually, let's give you the proper welcome back, if you will.
Same old, same old. I was hoping we would get a previously on the other side of the ball because I
Well,
heard last week
you have missed a
got
lot.
some last couple weeks. I heard there's been some Vegas drama and moves and shakes and such.
Well, yeah, but first I got to do this. Missed you, brother.
I missed you guys too. You guys didn't miss me. You guys actually got to talk probably the past 2 weeks.
Yeah. The good thing is the mute button might get overused tonight. I'm just saying.
Uh-oh.
This really might turn into around the horn.
Yes.
Well,
We'll
who's
find out.
Reale? Who's Tony Reale then?
I don't know.
Who's what?
Come on, you know that's you, Corey.
I don't have the mute button. I can't mute others.
Well, anyhow, we
Okay.
are scheduled to be joined tonight by Coach Lee of the Stealth, and then supposedly it will turn into first take between 2-5 and one Mr. Lasante Anderson. As the last couple of weeks, it's been who's lying, who's telling the truth, and who's this and what's that. But also, as Chris does has his glass ready.
As you can see, I'm ready.
Yeah, he might be calling for Elizabeth. But we do have two players on this panel that still need a place to play. So, 2-5 and Mr. Hammond, have you gentlemen decided on where you're taking your talents in 2026? Which, by the way, folks, we are officially now 27 days away from opening day. The 15th was on Sunday. No, I'm sorry, 27 days away officially from opening day on the 15th of March as we start season 12.
Yeah, no, just as a to answer Dub's fishing expedition, there has been a decision in the Corey Hammond camp on the general idea of what 2026 will look like. Conversations have been had with higher ups, and a decision has been finalized. However,
The wife got involved in this one?
it is not being reported as of this moment, and it will be a relative surprise to some, but not necessarily a super crazy situation as some might either guess or understand based on knowledge of the behind the scenes. So
Wait, hold on.
tease
So
that.
you
Look
saying you're not
forward.
going to tell us?
I will tell you. This
Oh,
will
okay.
be the show that is released, just not just yet. Besides, there's better players that we're planning to talk about this evening. More of the focus. So this isn't about what I'm doing. Who cares about a 39-year-old quarterback? I guess maybe some teams that need a quarterback, but I digress. But I don't want to take away the shine from Knox if Knox is ready to let us know.
Corey, you can never take the shine away from me. I'm never ready. I ain't ready. I'm in the same boat you in. You feel me?
So there you have
just to be clear, the boat that I'm in is I have a team. I'm just not announcing it. You have a team. You're just not ready to announce it yet.
Sure.
All right, there we go. So listen, we'll in the comments if anybody's got guesses for either myself or Knox, fill up that comment section because if you support our league, it's free and you should friggin' do it. Stop wasting our time.
I've got an idea where Knox is going.
I'm thinking somewhere in Vegas, but I don't think it's 100% yet.
All right. Now, should we address the elephant in the room per se?
Which elephant is that?
Yeah,
I mean,
Well,
Dub, I think
what?
that's really a nasty way to talk about the five of us. None of us are overweight that I know of.
No. This has nothing to do with us. But apparently, if you and hello, Mr. Tender, how are you? And already, I think LA is ready for you 2-5 because he's already.
Oh,
Here we go already. Um.
Can't you tell 2-5's excitement?
Oh yeah, I can see it in his eyes. Now if
Yeah,
you happen
exactly.
to, now
Exactly.
I didn't watch. Now if you happen to go on CP3's page, um, there was some interesting stuff said on his page. What I don't know, but I mean,
yeah.
there's a lot of banter going on in the New Jersey players page, um,
They shit more
which
booming than ours.
makes people wondering what the heck is going on here.
Well,
Um,
I'll be fair to the Nevada division. There hasn't been a changing of the guard yet in Nevada, so everybody's kind of has a hierarchy and knows the pecking order of how to talk, right? So there is no established talker team versus the established, you know, countering to the shit talk team, right? So Vegas is still developing that identity. I'm gonna be honest about the Northeast division. There's guys in our division who are all pro, all A7 at specifically just the pages, right? Like so there's guys right now gearing up as they do every year in a way that has no effect on wins and losses during the season, and they're getting their preseason in, and if they specialize in shit talk, it is preseason for that. So, everybody's warming up. Not everybody's 100%. But shout outs to those guys on the Facebook lives because they certainly know how to scream obscenities and nonsense. That's 100%
But
factual.
but what about the post that Will Franklin put up there in that same page?
hmm
What that Will Franklin was saying that he was going to suspend anybody that posts.
No, no, no,
No,
no, no,
no,
no.
not that.
Listen, I will be honest. I have so much going on in my life that I just allow the A7FL New Jersey page to just be fun for everyone else because I would get off my lawn, Gran Torino, old man that shit probably, and it wouldn't be as fun. So I can only be the I'll say the Darnold downer in response to a recent champion. I'm not going to be the Darnold downer in those conversations where people are just trying to have fun. Shout outs to
Well,
I
David Tender
believe,
though,
I
because
believe,
he
I
never he
think
never
LA was
starts
in
any
there too,
shit.
correct?
What's up?
I believe LA was in there with DT is saying.
well, there's your little thing for Mr. Tender. A little synopsis of what Will Franklin said. And Will Franklin, if you're watching, more than welcome to share what you meant in that post. We are awaiting our first guest as
Oh,
So
did I
let's
need to
let's move
send? Did
off
anybody
of the
send LA the way to get in?
well, yeah, let's move off of the Northeast drama because I will get further clarification for what we're talking about with Baltimore and such. But what I do want to do is I think that I'm going to throw a real quick 2 cent take in, take it or leave it before Knox gets into the nitty gritty with our friend LA. As the quarterback on this panel, I guess, even though I'm probably you know the I guess I'm the Mendoza line for quarterbacks in this league. Um, is this LA guy the guy who is the I would say the vocally um active counter quarterback to the Jeremiah Reeves situation for the gold?
um, as far as last season, you would be correct.
So is the first take situation that we're kind of prepping for a guy coming onto the show to explain to us in words how he's a good enough quarterback?
Well, basically, if you watched the show last week, and like I said, you just tell
Previously
by
on the other side of the ball.
you can tell by 2-5's body language that he's
Yeah.
either not ready for this or he's just ready to get over with. Because last week, 2-5 and Mr. Anderson was going back and forth in the comments, and that's why I said first take, because it's really going to turn into Skip and Stephen A. between LA and 2-5. Hence why Chris, and as you can see,
That's the
I'm
drink,
not wrong.
yes.
I'm not wrong in my take, as the audience pretty much is agreeing. Hello to Kamari, Michael, and Zelly for joining us, and Mr. Tender. Um,
Well,
so
let me just say before we get into it, because I think it will be interesting. What I would suggest to either of the debaters is to not look weak by constantly interrupting. That's what I do, but allow the other guy to talk a little bit. It's more of an interesting debate forum. And I'll also say this: I think it's going to be pretty difficult to prove how good of a quarterback you are with words on a podcast. So I know I try all the time and struggle myself looking like a clown, but I think it'll be fun to see what it looks like to see somebody else try to do it.
I'm so looking forward to this. From Brucey for the longest yard.
he was getting to the point.
That
Zelly
is so
says
wrong.
it's pretty much like Bruce from The Youngest Larry trying to explain why he should play over Crew. That's a heck of an analogy.
Oh boy.
And that's still a great movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, there's probably someone that watched that movie that would make that argument. I mean, there's always a guy ready to make an argument. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I disagree with Zelly on principle, but
no, but it's funny as hell.
Yes, it is.
So we make them instead of debaters, masturbators. So
the master debaters. You guys are the master debaters.
No, sir.
No,
sir. But we'll see what we get.
Well, if any of our guests decides to click on the link.
Well, and I thought because I told LA we'll let them know when to jump in, but has anybody reached out to Lee?
The link has been sent to Coach Lee. It's up to him to click on it and come on the show.
I don't think I have him personally. Let me just take a look and see if I got him on Facebook. That's got to get out of that, because that is. If anybody has him as a link, let's go ahead and hit him up and try to get him on now.
I just sent him the link.
Thank you, sir.
But some people don't check their stuff.
Yeah, and then some people like me, who's got my phone close by, I always hear the ding and have to look.
Yes. The ding.
For the just in cases that it's work.
Oh boy, here we go. Don't get LA. Don't get Zelly going, because it'll turn a first take in the comments between you and Zelly. Good grief! Let's not do this now.
That shall be entertaining as well.
See, here we go. Here we go.
And well, let them go at it. We just got to get Leon here so we can get things moving. Because as of right now, we're kind of holding the show up. And I will say,
I just made the call. What's the name from the pop in right now?
Okay. Who? Lee?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we will be waiting on Coach Lee from the Stealth to talk about. I guess we can call this also the state of the Stealth, even though we've had some.
Zelly, we're not doing that right now. I gotta let my week set in. I ain't high enough yet.
Man.
Well, folks, this might be some. You might need to get out some tissues, because you might be crying of laughter tonight here on episode number 171 here on the other side of the ball. But again,
Dub, I was about to hit you with a pause with "Get your tissues." What?
I'm just saying this could turn into
If you're laughing that much,
I've never
Corey,
listen,
please don't turn into my kids. I cannot talk around them with that damn
I'm about
pause
to say
word.
6'7" just to turn into your kid's mizzle.
Oh Lord.
oh God.
don't say that around my dog. She'll probably hit you.
Who will you be referring to, Mr. Jordan?
I think
Look at
you must be talking about Lee.
look at Jordan Davidson from another state flying in to executive produce the show from the comment section.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, that's the
Frank
whole
ain't wrong.
joke with listen, hold up. That's the whole joke of the pause.
Yes, it is.
I don't know. Listen,
So it doesn't sound
some of
good.
you've never listened to the 3-on-1 podcast and it shows, which is fine. I mean, that's probably a better thing. But anyway,
Well, some of us have watched it.
I've watched it.
Of course, Matt Ryan had one of the greatest endings of all time. Don't be an asshole. And Corey Hammond, I'll try.
I ruined it every episode.
Well, I already called him Jordan. I already called
So
him.
we are awaiting our first guest here. We're waiting on Coach Lee the Stealth to come on and join us, and there he is. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will take this quick timeout. You are watching The Other Side of the Ball. We'll be right back.
Dun, 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 dun.
And welcome back to The Other Side of the Ball. And joining us, as he said he would, from the Silver State Stealth, we have Coach Lee, who was gracious to join us again. First off, Coach Lee, welcome back to the program. How are things going with you and yours, sir?
Everything going good. Can't complain.
Well, we definitely appreciate the time. And I see that your organization has been very, very busy in this off season, getting ready for the upcoming season, of course, and of course playing some 8-man padded football. So just give us a quick synopsis of what's been going on in the world of the Silver State Stealth preparing for 2026.
So preparing for 2026 has been very busy. I've been dealing with a lot of athletes, a little bit over 60 athletes. We got a college prep team going now. We got a flag team, 8-man, 11-man, and an A7FL. So, just been busy putting players in a proper category and on a proper team to make sure we have a good season all the way around.
Yeah, so how is that going to work for you? Because you could carry, 30 on the A7FL?
Correct.
So you're going to have to figure out which 30 players you're going to take in
No,
the
so
A7?
I already have my teams broken up in different group chats. I have a handful of coaching staff. I have great coaches. Probably about 4 offense coordinators right now. 3 defense coordinators. Um, 3 special team coach. And so just breaking it down. So like for my 11-man team, I actually had we were working with the high rollers on a merger, and then we just agreed that, their players would come over um and join for our 11-man season with their coaching staff as well. So I have, a head coach for 11-man, a head coach for A7. My whole flag team is already organized and, self-running, which their games, I think their games start in 2 weeks. So it's just, just kind of tuning in with all the different group chats and just overseeing everything and looking at how the level of play has been running. And those practices are held at different locations, different times, and with different athletes and coaching staff. So just going into those practices and seeing if they're actually keeping up with the level that I expect them to be running at.
So what is your outlook for 2026 as far as the stealth go?
I think I'm gonna have a great season. I think I'm gonna have a great season, like for the stealth, especially with A7. We got a lot of we got a lot of upsets. I hear some good quarterbacks that's coming to the league from A7 for the Nevada division. And I've been reaching out to a couple of them, especially some who have some new offers to teams that already exist in Nevada. So I'm just interested in seeing how this goes. I think I'm gonna have a great season though.
So are you looking to take that next step and get into that step up from tier 1 to tier 2? Or excuse
Correct.
me, from tier 2 to tier
To
1. Let
tier
me get
one.
that right.
Yeah. So basically, in the off season, I looked at everything that we were doing, and just speaking with a lot of people, speaking with Notch and a couple people in the season and in the middle of games and even after games, and understanding, what wasn't done correctly. I think it played a big part. So personally, I've been holding practices since last year around May or June. So we've been practicing since May or June. And I think, taking an early leap on it, starting our OTAs before any other team is going to give us a better advantage. I had a lot of players come from teams. I had a lot of people leave. I changed my mind on a lot of people. And one thing that I realized that was a major flaw in my organization was me not having a consistent coaching staff and me not developing the right quarterback. Once you develop the right quarterback and you find somebody, you like, hey, this is my QB1. If he comes out on an injury, then my QB2 comes into play. But if he doesn't need to come out, he plays the entire game. I feel like I was in a cross with the player coach's mindset, trying to give everybody the ball and not realizing that this is a game, but you don't need to play it like when you need to play it, a little bit more strategic and, like chess. So I feel like, me learning, it's not about making sure everybody play. It's about having the best athletes on the field at the time and, a team that's willing to sell out for each other. So I think I found the right group of guys that play at a high level and are willing to sell out for each other. My arena team is also looking gorgeous as well. We played 7 pregame teams and we're undefeated in arena as well with those 7 pre-games. And we played a lot of good teams too. So I just think me overall as an owner, I think I developed a lot better with my mindset and matured in a way that's going to shape my team, to that tier 1 bracket and stepping out of that tier 2 bracket.
So I know the other guys have questions. So my thought is, are you are you going to carry 30 players on the stealth this year? Saying what you just said with guys that are going to play because of their athleticism. Are you still going to
Correct.
carry the 30 players?
So I think for A7, I'm going to branch it down to about 24 athletes. The reason why I want to do 24 athletes is because at first we were lacking a line and a quarterback. I have a great line and I have a great quarterback now. So the skilled players have already, been in place. With a couple more players, I feel like, just with a little bit better adjustment, like far as my receivers, my returners, I feel like I have some of the top athletes in A7 and, even down to my O line and D line. I just feel like, if I can give them more exposure time, but have a great backup in case of an emergency or in case they need a break, that's going to be just enough. I don't want to overcrowd the team to where sideline cadence get blurry. We've been working a lot on sideline cadence in the offseason and even in our pregame seasons. So I think that's going to carry out and is going to, make a bigger difference on our outcome inside the game. So 24 players for A7, 50 players for 11 man and 35 for 8-man arena. And my flag teams are already filled and college prep as well.
Nice. Panel, any
Fantastic.
other questions?
Well, I think I was going to let it go a little bit, but then it always comes back to this. So, Lee, thanks for joining the show. First of all, I would like to say, because I hadn't gotten a chance to talk to you in person, even though this is over a pod, but congratulations to the Stealth for their first year, because I think you guys coming in, basically taking over the place at the table that the Force kind of were holding, that third position. You stepped in nicely. You were able to win the games you were supposed to, compete in the games that you lost. But how would you rank? How would you rate last season? Was that a success? Was it a step in the right direction, but a fail? How
I
do you look
mean,
at the Stealth's inaugural season in the A7FL specifically?
so as a business, as a business owner, it's a model to a business. Your first year is your learning year. Your second year is your earning year. So I feel like that was my learning year. I feel like this year is, it's going to be the year where I actually earn something. I learned a lot within my first year. And to me personally, I feel like I did a lot better than a lot of other teams that came into this league with their first year. So I feel like, it was a great success to be in the top three. When you look at the teams like the Hunters, they had Bino, they had Savion, they had Mo, they had Perry. Those guys are impact players. And down to Yodi, like Nod said, sometimes it takes 2.5 guys to tackle them. So, when you're playing against teams like that and their coaching staff is, a little bit more seasoned than you in the league that you're playing in, that does play to the advantage. I feel like some of these teams that were considered bottom teams last season, it was an any man game. They had okay guys on their roster, and to me, as being the less experienced out of all of those bottom teams, I feel like just to beat them, it shouldn't have been like, oh well, that was expected, because we expect owners and players that's in the league to grow with their performance. So I think I did great by, just making it out and only losing against the top two teams in Nevada. So I think that right there spoke volume. And then the game against Sick with it, I was away. I had an absence, a little hiccup when that game was going on. So I wasn't able to put players in the right position. My coaching staff didn't play certain players, like Hornbeak, Jalil. Jalil's a good runner. In that last game against Stick with it, KR, Ramsey, Keith Ramsey, he was the only person who scored that game. He scored 3 touchdowns, I believe. And I believe if he would have came out hot like that, it had a little guidance as a coaching staff to put the other players in position, we would have had a greater outcome, but I can't debate it because I wasn't there. But I feel like games that mattered, like that last final game, games like that, I feel like if I was present or if I would have had a prepared coaching staff that would have knew, the players' IQ, they would have been able to put them in the right position for us to have a better outcome. So I feel like, learning one thing that I learned from those mistakes is making sure my coaching staff on every team I run has a personal IQ with each player and reach out to each player individually and focus in on each player to actually learn them. I don't want coaches who's just see one player or know the hype of one player and get excited off that. I look for the coaching staff that's actually, dialed in with the entire team development. And I feel like that's going to play to a better advantage as well as it did in off season in our preseason games.
So last year you said learning year, you guys learned, and it was a success because you weren't the worst team. You guys got the wins. And then this year's the earning year. So what some of the things that we've talked about already in the offseason, we had Jaden Webb, I think is a great addition to add to both the passing game and pass defense for you guys. But it all comes back down to something that you mentioned earlier, right? The Stealth, in my opinion, last year were capable at running the ball and capable of playing pretty solid, good team defense. When it came down to it, though, when the team needed passing yards in the air, there was a lot of
Sure.
struggles. And I think it would be just like we're going to have a conversation later with 2-5 and another guest. The conversation around quarterbacks in the A7FL sometimes is too rudimentary, like focused only on just the quarterback's play. And if you switch the quarterback, then teams think that that's going to fix everything. That's not true, as it's been played out time and time again in the course of not only this league, but any pro or semi-pro football league. But it comes back to the same thing that I always end up asking as the asshole that plays quarterback myself. Lee, the Stealth last year, I think started or played 4 or 5 different guys at a position that should be, in your own words, You have a guy who's number one, and he only comes out in injury, right? Have you solved that position for the
Yeah,
A7FL?
so the
And
quarterback
who is it?
so the quarterback situation is it's kind of crazy right now. So I've been having a lot of options this season. So I had a lot of people coming out to stealth this year to practices, Stone King, couple other people. But the quarterbacks that I dialed in on, I think is going to be excitement to the season. You have some top teams right now. It's I really don't want to be the one who break that news because, like I said, it's gonna be an upset in the league regardless. So I just want. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm a recruiter. I'm a recruiter. I'm a recruiter. So it's new quarterbacks coming into the league, but we don't know where they're going. They could be going to sick with it. They could be over here at stealth. You never know. You know. So I just want to keep that. I want to keep that one a mystery because I know the quarterback that we have is going to do great. Like I'm talking about throwing yards is crazy. Like the preseason games we had, they're just looking amazing. And so I just want to keep that quarterback, under wraps until a couple other people announce their quarterback. Like I think
What
sick
about
with it
that
got
line
to.
though? What about that line though? Because the
Mhm.
quarterback can produce all these yards. You feel me?
Oh, the
What that
line.
line look
So
like?
the line is
Like for
looking.
instance, just to put it into context for 2-5, there's a quarterback in this division, Darnell Richardson, that given the players
Yeah,
around him, he
I
he looked
haven't.
like one of the best that ever did it in this league for a time. And when he played with OTT most recently, he looked like an average quarterback that was completing as many
No,
touchdowns as interceptions for a team
I
that
know.
didn't have the protection.
I was actually sponsoring OTT that season, so trust me, I know. But I would have reached out to Smooth with the line that I have. Like I said, I haven't heard from Smooth from a minute, but then when he got back into the flag scene and all that stuff, that would have been the quarterback I would have reached out to because the line I got right now, we got more than 5 seconds. We good. So yeah, like I went and recruited. I did a lot of recruiting, so it's gonna be a lot of new people and linemen included coming to A7 that hasn't been here. And then there's going to be familiar faces probably from top tier teams who have decided to come ball out with the stealth this season. Um, and like I'm just keeping them under wraps right now as well because I feel like they are impact players. They could play O line or D line, but they're gonna be a threat or a problem whichever side they on. So I do have, in my opinion, I do got a dominant O line D line. Like our defense has been winning us a lot of games. Our offense, our O line has been holding up tremendously. We do have probably like two, I would say, rookies who can, use development. But I do have them on a practice squad to where we're just developing them because we feel that their potential would be greater, but we're just not quite comfortable with them right now. But with all the talent we got and all the pancakes they get at practice, I do feel like they're going to be great moving forward. So
But as far as the quarterback, from what I'm hearing, the stealth have found a familiar to the A7FL name that will be new to the stealth but not new to the league?
no,
Or
he
is this a
now that
rookie that
that
we've
that
never
is an
heard of?
option. So that is an option. It might be a quarterback that's new to A7 but familiar at playing at a high level of football at quarterback. So or it might be a quarterback that's played on a high level team and decided to play for
Now,
the stealth.
when you say that, are you being cryptic or you're saying it's still up in the air for the stealth who the guy is?
I mean, it's down to
But
my decision, but
but
I
he
do
being
have.
he being cryptic. You feel me?
So
He being
I,
cryptic.
I would say it's down to my decision
Yeah.
because I'm trying to figure out, I have three good options, and I'm trying to figure out what is going to work best with the rhythm for the A7 team. And so I'm going to try some things out. Like I had a roster that was submitted for our beach game. I'm going to add two more players and remove two more players for that beach game and that we have in California coming up on the 7th of March. And I feel like, the IQ at that beach game is going to be my final decision for what I have going on and coming into A7. But I do have those options. They have reached out to me. Not saying I don't bribe people, because how I can get with players, but they are willing to commit. I have had them sign a contract, so I'm just willing to see how it's going to go with those players. I don't want to make the wrong decision on a quarterback, because, like I said, I had quarterbacks come out and look great and was, like Stone. I feel like he would have been a great fit for the program, and I actually prefer, trying to pick him up for arena opposed to A7FL. So it's just like quarterbacks for different things. That's what I've been targeting on. 11-man quarterback, flag. I had that situated with the quarterback,
So
8-man.
what you're saying is that you had the realistic shot at getting probably the rookie of the year or rookie of the year runner up in the Vegas division at the quarterback position, and you thought that he would have been better for a different brand of football than a guy that last year against the current champions threw for 400 yards.
No, I wouldn't say
And
that. I just say I feel like, he's an all around great athlete, and I feel like, him coming from actually padded football, I feel like it would have been more lucrative to me to utilize him in, pads and helmets,
then
as I
to
would
use
say,
him on the stealth A7 team.
than to use him on the A7 stealth team, because
So you're saying you found a better A7 option than Canyon Stone King?
no, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay,
It could have been something to the fact of, he might not wanted to play A7 again and was willing to give another league of football a shot at a time. So,
gotcha.
all of those factors play into the decision with that. But I would have loved for him to be a part of the A7 team, but I would have looked forward to him coming over to 8-man first. So when I did have him showing up, I was actually looking at him and evaluating him for 8-man opposed of A7. Where A7, I feel like I do have the perfect fit of a quarterback, height, size, lengthwise, endurance, able to break out of the pocket, able to throw amazing, and we even been practicing pocket collapse drills. So, like, I feel like he's just an all around great quarterback for us, and it's just going to be great in the season when the season actually starts. So, depending on who we play against our first game, is going to really show us. I would like to play against a top tier team first, and the reason why is because before homework gets done and people are able to get a little rhythm of how we're coming, I would like to play one of the top two teams, so I can challenge myself to see if we are still at that same level within this playing field, or if we are in the way of moving to that first tier. I feel like if I played Insomniacs or Sick game one, it would give me a great look on how my team is going to develop throughout the season. I don't have to beat these teams in the first game. I just have to compete. My job is to win. That's my job, is to win a championship. I want to win everything. But most importantly, in these beginning stages before coming in playoff bracket, I want to be able to compete with these top teams. I want it to be games to where it looked like, like when the Alienators played against the Insomniacs the first game. I want it to look like top tier games, like when Sick beat the Insomniacs, or when they compete against the Insomniacs consistently. I want it to be of that bracket to where they can look and be like, okay, well, yeah, it's been a lot of changes in that offseason, and you can tell by the way they're playing on the field. So that's what I want to really transpire. I want to see how we're coming up against a top team with everything that we've been dialed in on, with all of the pregame training and everything else.
Well, I think that would be an interesting thing to see, and I think a lot of us are interested to see how Dion Fox plays. No,
Um,
no,
I don't think
yes.
he's. Oh, if y'all want to see how Dion Fox gonna be playing, tune in. We play the Force on the 21st. Silver State Stealth play the Las Vegas Force at the
So no,
on the
I was fishing.
21st.
I was trying to see if it was Dion Fox. So
No,
I guess no.
yeah,
So
he played.
all
He
right. So
played.
we're whittling it down.
It was a good
We
try.
play 8-man
Yeah,
arena.
listen. I'm just trying to do stuff. So there's a couple of things I saw in the comments, and a couple of things I was thinking as you're talking. The first thing I just want to address, when you say IQ, what do you mean? Because you keep saying it, and I don't know if I'm following what you mean by IQ.
Um, who is the force? Tell me about it.
Intelligence of the players.
Thank
Well,
you.
yeah, it's the intelligence quotient in regards to like football acumen, right? I don't know. Anyway, and then the other thing I hear a lot of is right? Like I know that you are in essence the stealth as the owner, as you know, Jerry Jones might say he is the Cowboys, but and I do appreciate. It sounds like you've been grinding, and all credit to you for all of the work you're doing in all of the leagues. But where's the we, man? Come on. No, anyway,
I
I'm just
mean,
throwing.
so yeah, no. So the we is an I. I created the we.
That's not.
So
That sounds narcissistic. But anyway, no,
yeah,
I was just saying a joke, and I'm just
no, I
being an
know.
asshole to
But
add color and
it's all it's all to keeping certain stuff concealed until it need to be shown. So when I use a lot of I is because I'm not trying to acknowledge the we's right now. So some things I feel like you do need to keep off the record until it's on the record. So that's just my opinion with some of
listen.
those
The
things.
cryptic stuff I totally get. Um,
Thank you.
so listen, we're gonna move off of
Can't
grilling
let too many
you.
cats out the bag.
Well, I think we should move off of grilling Lee to tell us the secrets of his team because we're making him tap dance more than my daughter who actually we pay thousands of dollars so that she does that for competitive dance. We have Lee over here for free over here trying to dance around, not saying who his guy is, and as I'm over here guessing. So as we transition from talking about your quarterback, let's transition to the conversation that's about to happen probably pretty soon, which is another team's quarterback situation. And as a football guy, obviously, with as many guys that you're responsible for, as teams that you're responsible for, leagues you're responsible for, you know what you're talking about. So, a lot of what's been happening on the most recent, previously on the other side of the ball episodes, right, has been the gold quarterback talk. It started with
Yeah,
Jeremiah Reeves just being an honest guy saying, "Hey, I want to play quarterback. I also do a lot for this team. It's not all my fault. We got to win last year. What's the deal?" Then before I know it, then I'm seeing an official thing that says Jeremiah's willing to just do this and somebody can play quarterback. And now we're about to hear
James,
Knox
stop
talk to a
trolling.
guy that I don't think that has more than like 3 career completions, and he's going to explain to us in words how great he is a quarterback, as if that's how you
All right, I just got to
try out.
chime in and say
So,
one
what's your
thing.
thoughts on the gold quarterback situation? What basically at the end of the day, what are your 2 cents in the debate we're about to see between
So I'm gonna
Knox
say this.
and LA?
I'm gonna say this. I'm a fair player. If y'all notice, I don't know if y'all noticed, but if y'all go back and watch that game against the Gold versus the Stealth, I was on the Gold sideline on that game. I wasn't on the Stealth sideline. I was on the Gold sideline until halftime. It's a lot of things like Jeremiah. That's somebody I consider a brother, a friend. A lot of things that I told him and talked to him about, like, hey, just start, moving a little different. Like, if you see your pocket collapsing, try taking in 5 yards and slide instead of getting spun around till you fumble. And I watched him take a lot of advice, that of things that we discussed, and I feel like, he had a little better outcome on his season, even right now, like, trying to get players together, holding joint practices, and just telling him, like, sometimes you gotta, sell out to see the program win. Like, it's just that simple. But I do feel like, personally, Jeremiah is a better quarterback because what makes a quarterback is somebody who's willing to take, you know, constructive criticism. And I watched Jeremiah do things that, like, me, him, and Peasy had a conversation in the car. And when we was playing against the Gold, Peasy looked right at me and said, "That motherfucker was listening when you was talking." Like, literally, as soon as they start going up in the score. Um, and one thing that I could say about Jeremiah is, what makes him different is he never took, none of the L's, none of the BS. and just hung his head. He always come out with his head held high, and he always give it the best. But one thing that I feel like he could do a little bit more is, if you do want to be the quarterback for the team, that's not a bad idea in my mind, because he probably can get the job done a little better if he actually had time to dial in on his training. Like I told him, I said, start coming to these practices, and instead of looking for other players and stuff, start coming to condition and just better your craft as a quarterback. And maybe if he start looking for a coaching staff, because some people be like, hey, you need to look for a quarterback. Maybe if he looked for a coaching staff and trust somebody with that head coach position, and he dialed in as a quarterback and found him a decent or even a better QB2, if he was QB2 and found a better QB1, like if Smooth came over there and played QB1, and then Jeremiah played QB2, and he had a coaching staff and was willing to take constructive criticism, maybe that would transpire better for him as an athlete on the field. But I did learn trying to run, the actual player list, do the rosters, control the team practices, jersey orders, and then get out there and focus on yourself as an athlete. It's kind of hard to dial in on your athletic bag when you're in your coach's bag, when you're trying to be in your owner's bag, when you're doing all these other things that take away from your practice and playing style on the field. So I just feel like if you started to dial in on, him as an athlete, or just dial in on him as a coach, either one that he choose, I feel like it would make a better outcome for his team. So it's just, you got to pick one, and you can't keep being, a two-sided coin. You got to pick one. You got to pick somebody that you trust to run the offense, somebody you trust to run the defense, and trust to give you, constructive criticism about you, whether it's good or bad. Whether they tell you like, hey, you are a developing quarterback, I don't feel like you're good enough to be a second string right now, if that was the case, or if they say, hey, you're great enough to go as the starting quarterback. You can't use your trump like, well, this is my team, either you're going to do it my way or not. You have to give that offense coordinator full range to evaluate you as an athlete if you truly still want to be an athlete, and you just oversee everything else. But give him the job that he needs to do. Let him be the head coach and get that team structured. And if he reach out to you like, hey, who's the jersey vendors we're going through, or do you already got jerseys? You can meet him down the middle with stuff like that. Do we have discount codes for athletes this season? You can help him with stuff like that. Before as his playmaking, his play schemes, his development on who he wants on his starting seven, you should leave that fully up to him, whether you agree or not. Because it's a lot of times where my coaching staff, they came up with the plays, the roster, and they like, hey, well, this is what I want here. And I'm like, instead of me saying I don't agree with it, I set up a game and I say, let's see how it holds up. And they've been doing great. Everything that I second guess, I realize I second guess from a player point of view and not from a business point of view. And so sometimes you have to step back from that player role, or you have to focus in on that player role. But if you're focused in on that player role, you have to have some type of control and an authority that you would be willing to respect as well. Because even in little league, high school, college, if you're an athlete, there's always somebody you're answer to. You can't be an athlete and hold the final decision. And that's just what I got to say about that.
And it's definitely been a conversation. I'll let you guys go. I know I've been talking a lot. But the coach thing, I think, is an interesting topic that pops up in the A7. I mean, it goes back, 10 years almost at this point, Rob and I arguing, maybe 10 years is an exaggeration. But, Rob and I arguing
I can't hear you.
if it makes more sense to have somebody who has their eyes looking from the sideline with the perspective of stepping back and watching the whole play, as opposed
Corey,
to
hold on. Corey,
yeah,
I'm not cutting you off.
gotcha.
Lee can't hear you. Lee, can you hear me all right? I don't.
Can you
I
hear
can hear
anybody?
Corey. I can hear Corey. I can hear all of y'all.
Yeah,
No,
so
I can
I
hear
guess
him
it was
too. I
me.
think
Can you
that
hear
was the
me? Can you hear
situation we
me?
lost him.
I can hear you, Knox. But here, I'll
Yeah.
ask you guys because he set it up. Lee set it up the way he runs his team. What's up, Matt Ryan? I was about to say that he was texting me
Hey,
privately. I was going to say he said hello to everybody. But he put it out there. That's how he runs his team. He said, and I saw a comment that he has 4 head coaches, 3 offensive coordinators, 3 defensive coordinators. Listen, there's a lot going on with the Stealth and with Lee, and I think a lot of it is positive. A lot of it's questionable. We can maybe get into that. He deserves a ton of credit because I think one of the comments I agree with a lot. He's definitely matured as an owner since the last time we spoke to him. A lot of eyes, but it is what it is. He's given his perspective. But what do you guys think with the gold? Because let's say there's that hypothetical coach. Because I remember Knox playing. I remember him being on the Kryptonite and going up against the Pit Bosses. The Pit Bosses had a coach. In that first game when the Pit Bosses played the Kryptonite in the regular season, how'd that go for the coached team, Knox? Do you remember that game in the fall?
Oh yeah, that motherfucker wouldn't get off the goddamn field.
And he was, and listen, there's a lot to say about that coach. How much he was trying to blame refs and losses. That's definitely not leadership. But the point is that first game, Knox, seemed like the Kryptonite, dog walked, right? The Pit Bulls in the regular season.
100%.
I don't know how to respond because let's be honest, that championship game was not the same situation. And I'll ask you because you were there, Knox. Was it because the coach had time to put his guys and put a plan together after the first game? Or
I
do
don't
you
think
think
so.
that the players rose to the occasion in that specific instance?
In my opinion, if I'm being honest, I don't think it was neither. I don't think it had shit to do with him putting his players in positions. I don't think it had shit to do with the players coming up together and, feeling like they had to do whatever the fuck. That's not, and like I said, my opinion, right? It was a bunch of calls been called or not called, and then you got him on the field. You feel me? Like,
Well, all that being said,
that
like,
it's
listen,
a it's a it became a momentum changer in a sense because it's like at that point in time, like we're looking like, okay, we don't necessarily have a coach that's on the field. We don't have a coach that's arguing or you feel me doing any of that shit. So in a sense, it was like,
well, I'm gonna be honest.
what?
A lot of that, a lot of him screaming, he wasn't tall enough for the refs to even see him at times. So I'm not gonna say how. I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there. No, but let's be clear. We could talk about how the refs went and all that, but what we can't say, as Daniel Packer is kind of on my side, what we can't say is that the Pit Bosses came out in that championship game equal to the level that they came out in that first game because they got dog walk in the first game. It was an embarrassment. Calls are not going one way or the other. It was still a close ass game, in my opinion, where it looked like two teams that were pretty equally matched, as opposed to the blowout in the regular season. So, listen, I don't know what the answer is for the gold, and I don't know if a coach always solves the problem, because I'll go from my own anecdotes. You know, I've spent a lot of time running offenses for teams that I've played for. The two seasons in which I had spent time with a coach was the season when I played for, and goes back almost into ancient history. They were called the Purple City Warriors, in which the offensive coordinator wanted to have a heavy run game in a 7-on-7 league with no offensive line. So if you watch those games, guys, what you would see is that on first and second down we run, and on third down he would tell me to call a pass play. That's not necessarily a successful offense, in my opinion. The other time was when the Snow Tribe were convinced that they were going to use a coach that Mr. Snowman himself, Deion Dawkins, was coached in high school. And when that man showed up, he did not control the room of grown adult men, and no one listened to him. And after 3 games, he was no longer the coach.
Well, Corey, I
So,
think that one of the things that you have to kind of pay attention to is that, we get into the questions about coaching. And in reality, I think that what you got to kind of do is take a back seat to that question for this reason. You don't know until it happens. You don't know what it could be. We asked the question, and it's a good one. Does coaching make a difference when you have a coach that's not a player's coach? We know that with the Insomniacs, they won 2 championships with a coach on the sidelines. We know that they lost to a team with a player coach. It just depends on what that coach brings to the table and
Well, if
what changes are
we
made.
look at the most recent champions, BIC for sure has a guy who fits in as a coach. They also have guys that like act as staff that like are offensive assistants, defense assistants. So let's do the yes or no. BIC, yes. Insomniacs, yes. Before that, BIC, yes. And then we even go back to the U, yes. We would really have to go as far back as those Baltimore teams to a yes or no if there is a, air quotes, coach or not. And even those teams have
There you
team
go.
managers. So it's
What's up,
interesting because
JP?
I think the answer is that you need a coach, but I also don't think that it's that simple because having a coach is different than having a good coach. And the teams that win seem to have really good coaches, and that's not an easy thing to find in a league like this,
No.
where guys, to be honest, are not necessarily usually the most coachable at this point in our careers, where we are all relative adults, grown ass men that leave these fields and go to jobs, right? No one's going to class. Not no one, but not very many of us. So it's an interesting thing. I think though, we've filibustered enough. Can we get to the fun part? I can just mute and just watch now. I got the
yeah.
popcorn's popped.
Yeah, if you let us talk here now.
Oh, my bad. See, I told you guys.
Shut up, Corey. Damn.
No, but ladies and gentlemen, returning again as coaches, but also now joining us to tell his side of the story. And this is the first take portion between 2-5 and Mr. Lasante Anderson. James Bond is over the building.
Returning again as coaches.
LA, can you hear us?
Tell his side of the story.
Yes, fellas. What's up? What's up, fellas?
Appreciate the time. Hello, DP, what's going on? So you have asked for your time to talk and tell your side of the story, so the floor is yours.
Yes, sir. Okay. First off, I'd like to say I most definitely helped that man out. Majority of the practice, if it wasn't for me going, a lot of players wouldn't have showed up. Sometimes you just got to sit back and ask and see was niggas really doing their job. Now, Lee, you is right to a certain extent, but you just don't know. That nigga be lying to y'all ass. Nigga be lying. Stop just hearing everything you say. Motherfucker, stay and run with it. I'm like overheated. I'm trying not to over tweak right now because it's like niggas be lying.
I don't listen to Jeremiah. I listen to what the podcast say more than him. When I come to Jeremiah,
I understand.
Listen, real quick. When I come to Jeremiah, anything that I give to him, it's off of what I've seen in the actual game. So the conversations I have, they don't be about you or any particular player. It be about the team development and what he could have did better in the midst of, seizing the moment. So it never be about, oh, your side is right or his side is wrong. It be on the, actual game review. I do watch film. I do see y'all play in person. So I'd be like, well, I think this could have been done a little better.
Hey, Lee, so I got a question because
you right.
You said you watched a few games, okay?
He do be listening.
How many times would you say that you've seen LA at quarterback?
I seen him at quarterback like a couple times.
I can count how many times I've been out.
Now, I mean, if QB1 not hurt, you're not gonna see QB2, right? We already said that.
Yeah.
Right?
I ain't mad at it.
Okay, hold on. So if Jeremiah's not hurt,
you shouldn't be seeing him at all.
You're not gonna see him.
Nope.
Correct?
But
when we do see him, when we do see QB2, what do we see?
The same shit as QB1. You gotta have. So in my opinion, they made a better duo when you was playing slot and Jeremiah was at QB because you had more accomplishments at receiver and slot than you had at QB. You broke out a lot of times at slot. So I feel.
I tell you that motherfucker ain't got no time. Shorten your route down.
I feel.
I do shorten it down, but you're right.
Yeah, I feel personally where Jeremiah was at QB1, you weren't doing nothing different than him. Like, to make it, for the debates, like, oh, I could have did this better, did this better. Y'all was sharing that shit equally. It was 50-50. And I feel
You
like
sure?
you had more of a
You
breakout when you was
you
playing
sure?
slot.
You sure it was 50-50?
You
Did you
not
really
gonna see
watch?
Q, but
You
look,
couldn't have been really
LA,
y'all. That's why I
you
say.
not gonna
That's why I say
you
it's
not gonna
real. It's
see
real. It's
QB2 unless QB1 is
Yeah,
hurt.
so like if you was in the
You feel me?
NFL, like when Tom
So it's
Brady
like
got his shot.
when you did get your reps,
I made what happened. I made shit
it
happen.
was the
I'm gonna
same
say it
shit
like that.
though.
I made shit happen. I got the ball moving. I'm gonna say that since y'all gonna cut me off,
So
and I
No,
did
how
I'm
try
many
to
saying
be
that, but
respectful.
touchdowns
now
do you have
I
last
told you this.
season on record?
Hold on,
Man,
Lee,
look,
give me a
huh?
second. LA,
Say it one more time, Lee.
hold on, because I gave you a heads up, right? I gave you a heads up, and I told you what we wasn't gonna do. You feel me?
And I'm trying.
So
I want to speak my piece. I want
I
to
hear
speak
you.
my
I
piece
hear
because I've
you.
been too
But
real around this nigga. Y'all don't know I was up countless of
hold
nights getting
up,
playbooks
bro.
together. The
LA,
reason why
hold
shit was
on,
working
bro.
properly.
Okay, one at a
Okay,
time.
it don't
One at a
matter. Just
time.
hold on a
One at a
second.
time, guys.
Again, like I told you, you can speak your piece, but I gave you a heads up, bro, and I told you everybody on this panel is gonna have an opinion or they're gonna have some questions for you. So you're not just gonna be able to just fucking ramble. You hear me?
I ain't trying to ramble. I
Okay,
want to speak my piece. Can I speak it through? And then you feel me? I get the back end. Let me speak it through, then I get the back end. You feel me? I ain't got no problem with taking my shit. I ain't got no problem with that.
Can
I
I
ain't
say
got no
one
problem
thing?
with that.
But I just want you to understand, everybody that's on here that's, besides you, we're not going off of, Jeremiah opinion. It's not like he created, I want you to understand, it's not like he created this narrative about you and we're all like, okay, well, Jeremiah is right.
man,
This,
fuck
I
that.
want
He
you to,
created the
Hey, look,
narrative
I'm
for
from
himself,
Chicago.
my
I know
nigga,
what
because he
yeah.
motherfucker
complained
bullshit
so
So,
me.
much about what the fuck the
I'm from
nigga
Chicago.
Jeremiah
I'm on
do.
630
so
Street
like
right
when
now.
you
I know
start
what motherfucker
speaking
bullshit
about
me.
Jeremiah,
I
Like,
Jeremiah
ain't
went
keep
on
speaking
it
about
the
him.
real.
on the
Let's
just
keep it
listen to what I'm
real.
saying, follow me. When you brought up Jeremiah and
You lying.
how
Whoever
he's
just
running
said
his
that your ass lying.
program and
Yeah. I'll say it
he's seen the
again when it's
comments
my turn.
when he seen the comments, back from when I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago, and
I
Knox
even
was
called you and
talking.
told you about the comments. I was trolling.
I know, but that that ain't for everybody, so I'm not finna mention that.
You
But
feel? I was trolling.
I know, but so where Jeremiah came from, he was like, there's somebody who was supposed to be with me in this program and helping make this program better. Not one time did I think he was going to tarnish my name. I had a lot of seasons.
I never
I
said
had a
nothing
lot
bad
of
about him.
lot of good seasons and bad seasons, but you have never heard me go on a podcast and make any other excuse besides myself being the reason of my team destruction. I have never spoke out publicly about my quarterback. I have never spoke out publicly about the GM when I
What's
was
up,
on
Brent?
OTT. I don't do the public, defamation. I feel like that can cause a lot of stirring in the pot. So even as a quarterback, one thing you got to understand is you play A7. There's a lot of owners in these teams who watch your cadence and they'll look at it and judge it like, hey, is this the type of person I want for my program? Because when things are not working out, is he going to go and do this on public social media? One thing that I input it, I can actually show you guys a hand copy. All my players sign media contracts, so they're not even allowed to go on other side of the ball unless it get approved by me. And even then, everything is, kind of like charted down to what they can and cannot say. So I think, how you make your team look in the offseason and in the season is very important because if you tarnish your team name, it can start a Me Too movement, and that shit is dangerous in any sport. So, just controlling the narrative will help you along with your journey. Like when you go to another team, you don't want people to be like, oh, yeah, he's one of those problematic persons. He's hard to deal with. I get this is the reason, but if he's not reasonable, it's going to be hard for me to deal with him. Or people who watch it, the other owners are in this, chat. They're watching live right now. They look like, like, hell no, I wouldn't even deal with him. And then you'll have Ray say, hell no, I wouldn't even deal with him. Then you tricked yourself out of the whole
But I
Nevada
understand what
division.
he's saying, but
Listen,
you got to know the back
listen,
end.
Well, listen.
If I
Let me
can't
just
speak my
respond.
back end, if I can't tell
Hold
my
on,
piece,
hold
they
on,
gonna
hold on,
always judge me the wrong way.
Okay, one
let
at a
him
time.
let him
One at a
speak. You
time.
feel me? Because we only got so much fucking time, and
Well,
All right, go.
what I was
I've
gonna
been
say,
trying
listen,
to. I just
Lee.
want to spit my shit to get the fuck up
okay,
off
yeah,
here.
go ahead.
Well,
Go
I
ahead.
wanted to kind of recenter it because we're just kind of circling around. But I do want to give Lee a ton of credit because he said a lot of awesome things this podcast. What
He
he
said
just
some real
said,
shit.
I think, is probably the most poignant piece of advice anyone could give
That's
anyone
real.
in the media realm. Because no disrespect to anybody, I think when somebody comes on and talks about me, listen, Lee is an owner of a team. He's allowed. We talked about the guy who owns the Dallas Cowboys, how he feels. So Lee, you're my guy. But let's recenter this 2-5 versus LA
I was an owner,
debate.
a coach,
This is how I think it's best
and
done.
supposed to been a part owner. I supposed to been a part owner, a coach,
I don't know
and
if
the
that
offensive
matters.
coordinator.
Hold on,
But
hold on. I
everything
don't
I
know if that
said,
has
I got.
anything to do with anything. Excuse me. So what I think would be the most
You know
constructive
what I
way to
mean?
do this is start with LA. And LA, what I want you to do is make a point. Try to make it one sentence, one statement that you want to say and prove, whether it's about yourself,
Can't do it
the
like
gold
that.
specifically, or maybe even Jeremiah. And then we'll let 2-5 have his take on it. And then what we'll do is we'll let 2-5 make his claim, and then we'll give you a rebuttal. So LA, do you want to give your take and then have it debated against, or do you want to hear what 2-5 has to say, and then you get your shot at responding?
Come on with it. Let me start first, because then his rebuttal
So
will be
so give us
everything.
give us
I
your
take all
statement, your
constructive
claim.
criticism. I
No, what
take it
I'm saying
all.
is so it doesn't go all over the place, right? What's your claim? What are you coming on to as a statement to make known on the podcast tonight? And we'll see what 2-5 says in
To
response
speak
to it.
my piece, the shit that motherfucker be saying about me ain't true.
So
Ain't
what is
true.
the truth?
I helped Vegas Gold as much as I could. I stayed up countless nights getting playbooks together. I stayed up countless nights making sure motherfuckers can show up to practice. I got that nigga out of bed multiple times. If it wasn't for me, a lot of motherfuckers wouldn't showed up to practice. Besides that, I did a lot of scouting for Vegas Gold teams. Lee, ask some of your motherfucking players. You was in
Well,
our
and
motherfucking chat.
I bet Lee
It wasn't
is
just
in a
about the
similar.
quarterback. Let me talk. Let me talk. I let everybody talk. Let me talk, please. Please. So let me finish. The quarterback situation wasn't about that. We had Yodi in our chat. We had Perry in our chat. We had motherfucking Snoop in our chat. We had motherfucking tell that nigga don't lie to you. Me and Jeremiah done talked about Snoop. Not Snoop, the little motherfucker we was just talking about. Smooth. We was just talking about Smooth. Ask Jeremiah. Tell him don't lie to y'all. I stayed up counting nights. I got witnesses for this shit. I got witnesses for this. So stop trying to paint me to be the bad guy. It wasn't just about no quarterback spot, but nigga, let me help you. Let me help you. Let me help.
So your claim is not
I
about the
got playbooks
quarterback
together for
position.
him, not for me to run, for him.
But so what is your claim that you're helping the gold and
I did a
you're
lot and get shitted on at the end of the day. I did a lot. Chase was supposed to be our defensive coordinator. But me and him kept bumping heads because he thinking I want the quarterback spot. It's not about that. It's not about that. I play quarterback naturally. I don't have no problem with playing nowhere on the field. I agree with you guys on that. But let me do what I can do. Let me help out. If we need that, and yes, we did need that. The extra spark, the extra kick. Because if y'all can see, the only game we fucking won is when he actually gave me the ball. Willingly,
all right. So
not him getting
that's your
slammed on his
claim.
shit
That's your claim, right?
1,000 times.
So
He
LA,
said,
that's your
LA,
claim. It's a long
do
statement,
it.
but it is a statement. And then now Knox, that's the claim, right? I
It's
can
not about no
summarize it
quarterback
with a
shit.
ton
I
of
play
shit that
quarterback. It's
doesn't
not just
make any
about that.
sense. But 2-5, what is your response to what LA just kind of gave us?
I ain't even finished, but go ahead.
Yeah, you weren't saying anything.
Go ahead and finish.
Man, yeah, all right. Yeah, all right.
Go ahead. Go ahead
Stop
and
that,
finish.
Court. Stop that. Stop that.
Go ahead and
You gotta
finish.
stop that. Because I could be trolling like a motherfucker and I could be dead as
just
is.
go ahead and finish.
My bad. I went south. I'm already left-handed. My bad.
All right, just go ahead and finish.
So besides the practices, the scout, I'm on that. I'm in Chicago and I still was calling motherfuckers, scouting motherfuckers. I'm in Chicago, sitting on 63rd right now.
All right. So,
Still was scouting motherfuckers. They motherfuckers ain't boxing.
here's the issue that I think
Hold
everybody
on.
is
Just
having.
let him
What does this
let him
do?
finish.
But there's nothing more. What does all of
I
this extra stuff do for
He
a
thought I
player
was
who's been here
trying to
before?
be backdoor to him. You asked what does it do. He thought I was trying to be backdooring him, and whole time he was backdooring me. Nigga, I'm your homie. I ain't never did no shaky shit around you. I
And
always
that's what
carried
he's
a buck
saying. So
around.
let's
the
hear
back
what
door?
2-5 says in response.
What was the back door?
What was the back door?
Yeah.
The shit he said.
Okay.
He's not a part, nigga. We
I just
just
wanted
had
to
got
be
off the
clear. I
phone.
just wanted to be clear on what you meant by he backdoored you.
He's not a part of this team. We just had got off the phone. You mad? I explained to you what happened. I was trolling with her. Everybody get on their bitch troll. It's off season. It's talk shit time. I done told him. I told him before I got on the podcast and made that comment. Who need a quarterback, receiver, DB? I post that comment. That's what got him mad. And I don't even think it was his decision. I think somebody else said some shit to him and it all accumulated.
But see, that's a crazy ass combo if you ask me myself. If somebody posted on the A7 page who need a quarterback, receiver, DB,
I was
I'm
trolling with
thinking
him. I
you
told him
either
I was
got
going to do
3
it.
players or you just not sure on what position you want to play as an athlete.
I told him I was going to do it. He know. I
But
don't know what's going on after that. I told him I
I
was going
think
to do
what
it.
it
I was
was because
bullshitting.
even after you talked to him, you know, it was the podcast is long, so he went and did film just to make this short. He rewatched the film and he seen some things that he didn't expect you being close to him to
I can
say.
say that. I can
Whether it
say
was
that. But I
trolling or
told you
not,
what
he
I was
didn't
going to say.
expect
Going to say.
him to be the butt of the joke. It would have been better if you know another team was the butt of the joke, but since it was on him and he felt like he never denied you, he said y'all
You're right.
did build this together.
You're
You
right.
were somebody who were helping
You're
him
right.
in the uprising of the success of the goal. So he didn't understand why you would go on there and diminish his character as an owner, coach, or quarterback. You know, that was just hurtful to him. So he spoke out publicly about it, and I feel we're at this level now because of that. I
I
don't feel like
understand him
it's
at the
you
end of the day,
defending
but I
yourself.
told him.
I feel like it was him defending himself and you're explaining the situation after. That's why Corey keeps saying let's get some, you know, some substance to it, you know, so we can kind of figure out what is it that you want to explain about him because he never said you was a bad person. He just didn't like how you publicly outed him about certain things and certain things within the program. You
Which,
know,
to
that
be
was
clear, Lee, and
I,
I agree with you 100%. Which, to be clear, it sounds like is the only thing that you came on the podcast to do tonight.
it's not that. I told him exactly what I was going to do. I told him I was trolling. And then he took it upon himself to say some bullshit to me.
If you're
I told
trolling,
it's a joke.
and,
but
but if
I
see,
you're
told you what I
trolling
was going
and
to
then
post.
your response to your trolling is bullshit, why would you be then upset when you started it by
I'm
trolling?
not upset. You know about it.
You
and
It's a
sound
another
thing
upset.
you
thing,
don't know.
another
Like
thing,
I
just to
called you on the
capitalize
phone.
on
I told you
something,
exactly what I was going to do.
you was supposed to be co-owner, um, offense coordinator, and Chance was running the defense. Those are all players. You guys have to figure out a
Now,
rotation
Chance never
system.
wanted to play.
I
He
know, but
already
Chance,
had it in his
I
mind.
know, but Chance did play, and you know, shout out Chance. He's a good guy. Send me good prayer quotes every morning. Um, But I feel like you know if Chance is going to be a coordinator, you know he shouldn't be an athlete, which I do think that's a great idea because he is a great defense coordinator. But I feel like if you wanted to be a co-owner or a coach or something, you should have took yourself out of the athletic position and developed Jeremiah and helped him in that way. Or if you still want to be an athlete, you could have helped him find somebody who's more mature, maybe retired, got a little limp to their knee so they're not thinking about getting all on the field or in your videos like P. Diddy, you know, and just actually focus on the outside of the field and the sideline cadence without disrupting what's going on with the athletes. I feel like the problem is y'all did too much team. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and it becomes biased once you're on the field. Trust me, I've been in those situations. But
I
I feel like,
understand. It wasn't that. It wasn't
yeah,
that.
finding the coaching staff would be the main, you know, nipping everything in the butt, giving one person a job. He runs the offense. He's in control of who he picks to be his starter players and the sub players, and him giving out the plays. And you guys, as athletes, being able to accept that or not. Because when I played for the Las Vegas Force Arena team, I earned my starting position. I didn't go over there as an owner, coach, and saying, this is what I'm going to do or this is what I'm willing to do. I shut my mouth and seen what they wanted me to do, and I earned my position. Any other football form down to anything else, if I come over there as a player, I want to earn my position. I don't want to have the rights of controlling what I play and when I play and how I play, because that will affect you if you have that power. With great power, it comes a lot. And then when you look at the team falling, you like, is it because they're using? Because the question is about Jeremiah, is it because he's using his power of being able to be the head quarterback to his advantage, or can he not actually find a coaching staff?
I'm gonna do that.
And so
I'm gonna
that's
do
the
this.
only thing I would say about that. If he had a coaching staff, I feel like he would be a great QB. I feel like if you was his slot or something, you would do better as a slot. Because I did watch you a couple times in the backfield, and you was having fuck ups too. I'm not gonna sit up there and play like a couple bad snaps, a lot of lost for yards, but you had positive yards too, and you
I
had
only
great
had
runs and
one
great.
loss of yards.
You had a
And
couple
got that
lost for
right back.
yards.
One.
But
One.
you got to think about
That's
it.
a fact.
Jeremiah, the game,
That's a
like
fact. I watch game film. Like you said
just
earlier, my
listen,
bad for
how
just
cutting you
many
off.
listen.
times
I
you
watch
ran
game
for
When
film.
your
y'all played
life?
against the stealth,
You know how many times you ran for your life and then
I
yeah,
ain't
you
run for my
wonder
life. I
why
belt out the pocket
stop
willingly.
just
playing.
look.
I
When
know
y'all
what to do
played
as a
against the
quarterback. I
stealth,
belt out the pocket willingly.
It
I
all
know what
started
to
on
do as a quarterback.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
It
but
all
LA now
it
it now
all
now
starts
one
with
All
person.
right. Hey,
accountability.
hey,
You
hey,
feel me?
hey. Let's
It
stop
all
talking over each
yeah.
other because it
Yeah,
makes
One
for
person.
Jeremiah put that
really
game on his
bad
back against
crap.
the stealth.
Nah,
That
yeah.
was the
I've been
best game
sitting
y'all
here.
So
played.
I've been chilling long
Lee,
enough.
hold on. 2-5, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been chilling long enough. It's one of those like we said, it's accountability. You feel me? It's one of those where you can pinpoint and tell everybody what they have done, what they haven't done. With the conversation between me and you, I don't know what everybody else. We'll just go off of me and you, right? It all started off with the quarterback position. It wasn't about running no team. It wasn't about running offenses and doing any of that. It was about
Hey,
you not necessarily get. Hold on, man. It was about you not necessarily getting the opportunity to showcase your talent, and you felt like in certain cases you should have been given that opportunity, right? Now, me, I've even told you I 100% agree with you, right? Because like even Lee said, there was times where y'all pretty much giving up the same product in a sense. You feel me? So it really don't matter who take the fucking snaps. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, y'all really not building each other up. Y'all tearing each other down. You feel me? I told you in a sense, it starts with you being a leader. You feel me? Show that
you
you
right.
can lead first. You feel me? That's not in being a leader. It's not going to always be on the field. It's going to be off the field as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when the
Did a
on-field
whole
play
lot of that.
comes, it's like don't downplay what it was going on. Figure out what you can do to try to better the situation, especially if you are that co-owner, offensive coordinator, whatever. You feel me? Hey, look, check it out. We need to chop it up, timeout, whatever. I don't know. You feel me? What y'all go through? You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, when like he said, you come on, and every time we mention the goal, it's always some shit talking. Now, whether it's trolling or it's not trolling, it's always some shit talking. You shit talk a team that you play for. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, come on. In what sense is that making your team better? You're not making your team better. Because now the people around you are like, come on. Now, I will say you did say something earlier that I did agree with, and I've heard it from multiple people, right? Where it was something that Jeremiah not necessarily wanting to give up control. That's been the topic of conversation. He
Yeah,
don't want to give
that's
up
the facts,
control.
hard facts.
Yeah. I've heard that from multiple people. Multiple. You know what I'm saying? And he's heard it from us on numerous occasions where it's like if you don't want to let somebody run your team, whether you fund it or whatever you do for it, you know what I'm saying? If you're not willing to not play and actually let somebody help you and whoop whoop whoop, you're going to be in the same predicament. You feel me? You're going to be in the same position. So it's like, that's in-house shit.
You right. But I'm just so much of a real nigga. I can't keep getting shitted on and not say nothing.
But I'm
And
gonna
he
keep it
moving
real.
towards
You only
professional.
get shitted on at least.
It's that
Some,
at the end of the day, but I've
hold on.
tried to be
I'm gonna
professional.
say you only get what you're calling shitted on is when we mention quarterback and goal.
I can say to an extent, but it's like, no, I know y'all got to see difference back there. If you don't, you just
What do
blind.
you want to? But again, like
Just blind.
I'm not gonna sit here and say you had the best of amazing games. You haven't.
Only took
But
one sack.
you've in a sense changed your mind to only see the good shit that you do. You don't see your fuck ups. You feel me? You don't
I do
see
see him. I see him.
the how you could have shit ran your route better, how you could have broke a little bit different, how you could have sold some shit. You feel me? Shit, how you could have got your ass back there and helped block for that nigga. You know what I'm saying? And popped out the backfield and came up with some different schemes and shit. You know what I'm saying? So again, you can tell us, oh yeah, I scored and I did this, and it's like Corey said earlier, it's a bunch of eye shit.
Nah, I even lined
It's a
up at
bunch of
tight
eye
end.
shit. It's a bunch of eye shit. It's
I
like I
even
did
lined up
this.
at tight end.
I moved the
It,
ball. I didn't get
if
a
it
chance. Hold
sound like
on.
that, my
I
bad.
didn't get a chance to play. I didn't get a chance to run this. I scored the only touchdown. I did this.
But
You know what I mean?
No, it wasn't that. It ain't
hold
sound
on
like
for a
that at
second.
all.
Hold on for a
It's I
second.
help a lot,
LA, you just
and I don't
said
get the credit for it.
you just proved.
Not
Yeah,
looking
but you
for it.
just, man. Hey, hold on, man.
My bad.
You just proved exactly
Sometimes
what
the
25
sometimes
was
the
just
man
saying.
behind the scene don't never
He's
get the
saying
credit.
the
You know, shout
exact
out
same
Matt.
thing.
You
Why you
know,
And
think
what
it,
the
that's
why
one
you
of my
think
first
niggas
thing,
out
coaches.
here ghostwriting?
Okay,
hold on,
one voice at a
hold on.
time, please.
Exactly.
I
And
hear
I'm
you,
going to
Chris.
stop
People
saying, I'm
ghostwriting.
just going to mute everybody. The point about it is, you just sat there and said, I even lined up at tight end.
No,
I
you
do
said go.
Man,
He said go help.
man, I
I
already
do
said
think
it.
y'all
I'm
could
gonna
mend
bring
your
it back.
relationship, and I
I
do think
said it,
that
and
you
I'm gonna
have
do it.
been
I'm gonna mute
a great
everybody
addition to the
so
team.
we
I
can.
take
We're not
nothing from
talking
that.
over everybody.
I
Lee,
do want to
enough.
give you your flowers for that, but
All right. So what I was saying is simply this: you can't turn around and talk about team and then say I even lined up at tight end. There ain't no damn I in team, man. Period. I'm gonna squash this real quick by saying this. You by yourself will never win a damn game. You understand me? You need all the other players on the team to win a damn game. So all this BS of I'm done with it. I've sat here and I listened to you. I wanted to give you the opportunity to say what you had to say. Everything I heard was I this, I that. You want to be a leader on the team. You want to be a leader of football. You have to understand the fact that it is not about I. It's about us. Period. Nothing frustrates me more than listening to this bullshit. On a game that I love, on a game that I played since I was 8 years old, I don't want to listen to this bullshit about I. You don't like the fact of the way you were treated? Step up. Be a damn leader. Leaders don't talk about I. Period. This is all bullshit. Listening to this, making me damn sick. This is football. This isn't about how good you play. This is how good a team can be. And a team is only as good as its weakest link. And to sit there and talk all this shit, man, this ain't nothing. Steve Ashmore signed off because of this bullshit. And I agree with him. I want to sign off because of this bullshit. Because that's all it is. What have you brought to this podcast besides feeling slighted and how you were wronged? Not a damn thing. People want to get mad at me for saying that shit. I could care less. I really could. Because football is not about you, man. Football is about the team that is on the damn field. And if you can't bring something to that team to make them better, then get off the damn field. But that's all we've heard from the beginning of this podcast for you, Brent, jumping on here, is how you were slighted, how you played this, how you did this, how you did that. What the hell is that? You the whole damn team? Seriously, are you the whole damn team? No. Man, I'll tell you what. You guys go ahead about this bullshit. I'm done. I can't listen to this shit no more.
I think his drink set in, so don't mind him. Okay, his drink set in. It's all right.
We
Um,
got five. We got 5 minutes, and we need to wrap this up. And I think it's we should just wrap this up now. Thanking
Well,
everybody.
listen, no,
What for
I think this was definitely an interesting, you know, I would say like a hypothetical character study into why this podcast exists and what people think it might be for. And look, shout out to LA. Always see him in the comments, and I love that he's in a part of this league that cares, that is vocal, that goes in the comment. Like we do need people that care about football, and it sounds like, to be fair to him, that like any player that is competitive on a team that struggles, he wants to find a way to help. But I think Lee said it best, and I can only paraphrase what Lee said, which would then eventually become the eruption and the volcanic explosion that was what Chris was doing, and I think rightfully so. I don't know if anybody could read where I was, but I think I agree. Is that if your message to your team and the league is, I'm with this group, but fuck them, I'm a troll. I'm with this group, but they are all lying and their ass, and it should be me. I think the pushback from somebody knows how to win, which is somebody that which is a way that I would describe Chris Vera. They're gonna look at that and say, that's not it. To quote a great linebacker and a pretty good coach, a guy who knows how to win, like Mike Singletary, and this is the quote: he wants winners, right? I don't know if that's a winning message. It does remind me of something, and just to wrap up the podcast and be totally Corey Hammond, because I know everybody missed me. I'll say a story about myself. Now, one of the seasons I was in the league, I think it was my 5th season. It was 2017, and I started the season off with a team called the Savage. I was their starting quarterback in the fall, and they had pulled the rug out from under me week 1 and decided to go with a different starter. Corey Hammond, myself, did the free agent quarterback post. Now, the reason I say this is because a guy like LA does that post. I think it's very important to understand. I is not how you should look at yourself, especially when you're making that free agent post. What does the league think of you? How many people were in LA's inbox when he was a free agent and said, hey, come over here? Because I don't want to brag, but in that season where my dumbass, as mediocre as I am, when I said free agent, the defending champion BIC hit me up immediately, as well as a bunch of other teams, said, hey, you want to play with us? And I joined up with a team in BIC that I eventually became the starter of, right? So let that be a lesson to people that if I suck at football, which is a consensus by a lot that listen, and when I post free agent, maybe that was my prime, maybe not, and I get contacted immediately to play that position for other teams that also win in the league, that was my understanding that yes, I should still be playing in this league, right? Knox, I don't know if you could agree with that because you've obviously had people hit you up to play. But if you're complaining about your team and the way that they're treating you, you have every right to move on to the next. But I'll be honest, if you make that free agent post and you see the list of the comments, maybe the first place you go isn't to the comments section arguing about how great you are. And maybe, like Lee said, maybe you have a private conversation with the people that you're trying to build with and work together as opposed to trying to make it about yourself. I don't know, though. I might be wrong. What do you guys think?
2-5, make your point quickly.
I don't have one. I'm good.
All right. First off, let me just say this to our viewers. First off, let me apologize for what took place because that's normally what does not take place in this podcast, and for that, we sincerely apologize, and we will be better next week. Do want to say thank you to Lee for joining us, despite what it was. LA, thank you for coming on. Next week, Kamari Michael, who has asked me many times to come on the podcast, he will be our guest to talk about what he's been doing in the offseason and will he play in 2026. Again, to our viewers that did watch, thank you. Again, we apologize for what took place.
No, we don't.
That
You
will not
got
happen.
Chris blowing up. That's like we should clip that, and that should be one of the shorts.
That is, but that's
No
not
disrespect to LA, but like, listen,
But
that.
Corey, that's not one time ever in this podcast has Chris ever gone off like that. So for him to go off like that, even though what 25 said, yes, 25 said what he said, but still, for Chris to go off like that, that's not who Chris is, and that's the last thing that Chris wanted to do. So for that,
I
I'm
don't know.
apologizing.
I think he didn't want to do it, but I think based on a recent comment, I think it's necessary that he did, and let it be a lesson to all of us, including myself. If Chris is trying to talk, shut the fuck up and let the man speak.
Okay.
That motherfucker
Okay.
muted everybody.
Like I said,
By the way, I was already muted. My dumb ass
Hey,
already
he didn't
knew
get me.
better.
I just shut the fuck up.
25, you were the best debater of all time, and literally none of your words were important. It was just that you were there, and he was also there, and you won. I would say with passing with flying colors.
Look,
Okay.
So Lee, who's this quarterback? Is it
Hey,
Zach
Doug,
Luciano?
I'll say this though. In all fairness, I tried to, like I said, give a heads up. You feel me on how we wanted to, you know what I'm saying, get things and have it right. So
2-5.
again, I can't,
I'm not faulting you.
Yeah.
You gave consent. You gave warning, and he's still here talking about it was up. Nobody set you up. We tried to give you a platform to speak your piece.
Bro, he got
And then
plenty of time. He said zero actual tangible things.
And
for somebody who's constantly talking
Corey,
and saying nothing, I game respect game.
Corey, let me finish.
My bad.
The point is, we gave him a platform to try to speak his piece. Went off totally into left field, to where eventually Chris had to go off and say what he said, and then made the comment about what Steve Ashmore said about, because Steve Ashmore is a faithful watcher of the show, and he got turned off. The last thing we want to do is turn off viewers.
Listen, I tried to recenter it. I tried to focus on Lee's great point and recenter it, do a debate style.
And again, everyone was trying to give sound advice.
I tried.
As the old cliche goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Because again, if you're not going to be receptive to the information that somebody is trying to give you, then there's no use to talk to you because you're not going to listen and or understand. That's just not in football. That's in life. Point blank. Period. End of story.
Man, shout outs to Chris for saving that 30-minute segment, because without him exploding, that would have been the worst segment in the history of Other Side of the Ball. Shame on whoever brought on the guest that had no idea how to carry the show with entertainment value. Come on now.
With that said, again, to our viewers, we apologize.
Thank you,
Coach Lee, thank you for coming on and giving us your input on the stuff this year. And
so
also,
is it Zach Luciano? He's good.
Thank you for
very
having
underrated
me.
as a quarterback. Give him his own squad. He'll succeed. I know it.
Okay.
No?
We're off the Richter scale. Appreciate everybody for tuning in and watching this. I'm sure it'll be a memorable episode to where
is it Geary?
Once we get to 200, and Corey is still asking questions. Oh, by the way, Corey, you did not make your announcement yet. Where are you playing in 2026?
Wait, I'm still trying to get Lee's quarterback. Is it Geary?
Lee's not going to tell you.
I gotta ask. I'll try.
I know you'll try.
I did the thing. I did the thing. Do the Leo meme. I did the thing.
Oh Lord. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching. We will see you next week again. Kamari Michael will join us next week to talk about what his plans are for 2026 after taking a year off. However, appreciate y'all for joining us, and we'll see you on the other side of the ball. And again, we'll try better next week.